919-860-9783. Ladies and gentlemen, this is like a flash from the past for me. I would like to introduce you to a friend of mine, a former congressman from the great state of Wisconsin, and he has, of course, moved on to bigger and better things. In fact, so much so that I'm intrigued by what he's involved in now. He is Congressman Mark Green, and boy, it's good to hear your voice. Welcome to the show.
Bill, it is great to hear your voice. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm doing okay.
Well, that's good. I imagine you're still attending the Packer games and all of that, huh?
This past season, I hate to say it, I didn't get to a game. First time in a long time. I'm going to make up for it this fall.
Well, good, and I'll live vicariously through you. But let's talk about something I know absolutely nothing about, and I always try to know a little something about this, but it's the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition. You're involved in that along with a lot of other prestigious people. What is it?
The U.S. Global Leadership Coalition is a coalition of major non-governmental organizations and businesses, leaders from the public sector and the private sector, all coming together around some broad concepts that America must lead in this world, America must be engaged, and that we need to elevate diplomacy, our tools of development, alongside defense for true national security. So we have 110 retired 3- and 4-star generals and admirals who are under National Security Advisory Council and every living Secretary of State. So it's one of those great broad coalitions, both sides of the aisle, wars past and present, everyone coming together, standing behind American leadership in this idea that, to be truly strong in this complex, challenging, changing world, we need to have both, as they call them, soft power tools, the diplomacy, standing alongside our men and women in uniform, again, for that national security toolbox.
Well, it sounds wonderful. How do you make that happen?
Well, we do a lot of things. We just had our annual conference in which we gathered volunteers from every state. We have something we call Veterans for Smart Power. It's 27,000 veterans who have weighed in by Facebook or by blogging on our website in favor of smart power, gather in Washington, D.C. to talk about the importance of these tools. And we also try to reach out to candidates in key parts of the country, from the presidential campaign to congressional races, to talk about these tools and to try to act as a resource to make sure that our policymakers know what's available to them and what tools our leaders have and need.
What are those tools specifically that we're talking about? What is it available to the folks to promote what you're promoting? Well,
you have the diplomatic tools, so from the Secretary of State to our diplomats in places like Afghanistan and Iraq, who are trying to lift up those who are in favor of democracy in those countries, to bring our men and women home as soon as we can, safely, successfully, lock in some of those hard-fought gains. It's tools of development. In Tanzania, where I served as ambassador after I left Congress, after the terrible embassy bombing in 1998, you had a country literally brought to its knees. So we partnered with them to build capacity, to build stronger institutions of democracy, but also to help them bolster their own armed forces and to be able to take on their own security challenges. 10 years after the embassy bombing, Tanzania became a key partner of ours in supplying peacekeepers in places like Lebanon and the Sudan. So they went from a country decimated by a terrorist attack to a country that's a major contributor in the efforts of the U.S. and others to fight extremism and to lead in this world in a positive way.
Well, how can people, what's the webpage people can go to and get more information on this organization?
usglc.org. usglc.org. It's got resources regarding the impact of these programs in every state. Of course, North Carolina is a key state in so many ways, but a major exporting state. So, we talk about issues of trade and investment. That's also part of the smart power that we stand for, opening up export opportunities for North Carolina businesses. And all of that is available for the website as well, learning more about that.
Well, can I ask you to put your political analyst hat on for just a moment in Wisconsin and Walker and what took place there? And how does it look for Romney? Because Wisconsin, of course, I guess was expected to go to Obama, but it might go the other way now. What are your thoughts on it?
I think Wisconsin's in play. I think Wisconsin is going to be a very competitive state. I think Scott Walker, some of the turnout machinery that he built as he fought off the recall, I think will apply. And so, and boy, you and I have had an awful lot of conversations about this. Wisconsin has its challenges in its political leanings, but I think it's a state that President Obama can't take for granted. I think he's going to have to spend time in Wisconsin, and I think Republicans have got a real chance to make it competitive, if not capture it. Of course, we have an open Senate seat there, Herb Kohl retiring, so there's a four-way Republican Senate primary, and the Democrat is Congresswoman Tammy Baldwin, but that's potentially a pickup in the U.S. Senate for Republicans as well.
Oh, I didn't realize that's Tammy Baldwin. Is she the openly gay?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and she's out of Madison. So that's interesting. And
the People's Republic of Madison.
Yeah, 20 miles of liberalism surrounded by reality. I think that's what we used to call it. Well, I got to tell you, it was great to hear your voice, and I'm so glad you're still out there and doing what I guess you've always wanted to do. I remember vicariously living through you as you became the freshman congressman. So, great to hear from you, Mark. Thank you so much for your time.
Bill, thank you. Always good to talk to you, and keep up the great work. Your voice has got to be out there loud and strong.
Oh, I appreciate it. Congressman Mark Green, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.